Welcome to Black Motherhood Unplugged, the podcast where we dive into the real and raw experiences of Black motherhood. I'm Jay Ashby, and each week we explore the beautiful chaos of juggling life, work, and kids while navigating the complexities of our identities. From parenting dynamics to self-care and everything in between, we're here to share stories, insights, and laughter. So grab a cup of tea or wine, get comfortable, and let's jump right into today's episode. Today's episode is called Juggling, Visualizing My Ideal Co-Parenting Relationship. If you've been following me since season 1, you will hear the stories on how all of this started, where I'm from, etc. But if you're new here, I will share it again. I'm Jay Ashby. I am originally from New York City. I moved to Houston, Texas this time around. I've been here for the past 5 years, and I say this time around because I've lived here off and on, literally off and on, like a toxic relationship. However, this is a beautiful relationship, rather, since I was 7 years old. And this time around, I moved out here literally a week before the pandemic hit. I got here February 3rd, I believe, in 2020. I was pregnant with my third kid. We drove from New York City. And I left New York City because things were hard. I found out I was pregnant with twins at the time, and I needed my mommy, and I needed the support, and I needed to not live in New York City because all I could envision was the struggles that I experienced with my first two babies, and I didn't want to experience that again, pushing a double stroller down Harlem, hoping that someone will help me bring up my stroller with my kids in it up and down the subway, which that is not their responsibility. But I just didn't want to go through all of that. I wanted a soft life. So I moved out here to Houston, Texas, thinking, things would be a lot better, which they are now. However, the pregnancy was rough. I was depressed. I was sad. My mom and I, in the beginning, we were sorting through our differences. And then later on, she transitioned because she caught COVID, so on and so forth. So things just started to get rougher along the lines. And then I didn't have a relationship with my second baby daddy. He wasn't answering my calls. He wasn't doing any of those things. So it just left me in a really depressed state where I was like, why did I do this? Why did I put myself in another situation like this to have children with someone that's not going to be present? And that was another thing too, because we weren't really speaking like that. When I was in New York, I said, nah, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to wait around to hope and think that he's going to turn around. I am going to take necessary actions right now. So I did. And with that, now on year 5, and I would say this year here is absolutely one of the best years for me because I am actively doing the work to heal and let go and surrender and focus on my actions only. And I've been feeling hopeful with that. I've been seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. I've been forgiving myself more. I've been giving myself more grace. Even at times, I'm not giving myself grace. I've been more patient with my kids. I've been more patient with myself. I want things now, but that is just not how things work. I know that I have to continue to grow and to evolve and just, enjoy and receive and be present in the life that I co-created with God. So with that, as of right now, my weekly schedule is just bananas. It's so busy. It's so bonkers. It's organized, but in a way where truly, if I stop to answer a text message or even a call, it takes away from what I got going on. And I don't like things piling up at all. So I really and truly just make sure that I do things one at a time. Even when I'm at work, I listen to music or I have something playing in the background while I'm working and I'm tending to my tasks at work and so on and so forth. And then I look at my calendar, and I bring up work because work has been exhausted lately. So that's why I've been adamantly just managing my time. And with me managing my time at work, it's spilling over into home. So Monday, Wednesday, Fridays are the kids' classes. They both have the first two oldest. They have boxing, and taekwondo. Tuesdays and Thursdays, I have school for 2 hours, 2 hours and a half, depending on the work that we're doing. And in between, I'm doing homework. And as long as I tackle my homework right away and don't wait to the last minute, I'm not turning in my exams late. I am making sure that I'm thoroughly handling that. And then I got chores. I got my little baby, who goes to ABA therapy full time Monday through Friday, thank God. So it's helping him with his behavior and his communication. So I get up typically at 5 a.m., to get up and pray, meditate. And that's Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I try to do it 3 times during the weekday. And I get up that early so that I'm able to work out for 30 minutes. That way I'm not rushing. So once I'm done with working out, I jump in the shower, I get myself ready, and then I'll wake up the second and third, number 2 and number 3, so that they can get ready for school, and then we're out the door at 8 a.m. I drop off number 2, then I drop off number 3. I come back home. I'm home by 8:45, 9 o'clock, and I'm jumping online to either get on into a meeting or just go straight to work. At the end of, and typically, and really and truly, my workday starts at 7:30. So I'm already ready. I wake up the boys for 7 a.m. Breakfast is already made. I'm at the table while they're eating breakfast at 7:30 in the morning. That way I'm going through my emails and all those things that are important. And I'm responding to messages. And then I go silent for an hour on work. And I go and drop them off. I come back home, start work. I end work at 4 p.m. That hour that I take to drop my kids off to school, I make that up. If it's a day that I'm not working out, I get up earlier and I work from 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. That way I'm able to get ready, get them up at 7 a.m. So I'm making up that hour so that I'm not having to do it in the evening. And if I don't get up early in that morning, if I'm tired or I just decided to say, you know what, I'm going to have a late day, I make that hour up in the evening. And if I do, it turns into 90 minutes because I don't have that cap in the morning. And the thing with that is I love working from home, but at times you need to leave the house. But anytime I have my laptop open, be it my work laptop or my personal laptop, my kids think I'm working. So I'll let them know, hey, mommy's going to work. This is what the schedule's like. This is what's happening right now. And then I'll go into whatever it is that I got going on, whether it's washing clothes, doing homework. As you can hear me breathe, that's exactly how my schedule is, right? So anyway, last week, it's the February month. My number 2's birthday is in that month. And I told myself at the beginning of the year, I already put in my PTO from the first of the month to January. Did I touch July? Yes. From January to July, I put in my PTO, whatever PTO days I was taking off. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take off February 21st. That way I could play hooky. Sorry, guys, I thought I heard something. That way that I could play hooky with number 2 so that I could be a mommy and me date. And then I said, you know what? Because, school and grades, I don't want them to miss any days unless they're out sick, dentist, doctor's appointments, whatever the case may be. An idea just came out of nowhere, and I know that that's either my spirit team, God, whatever. And I said, you know what? I'm going to take this day for me. So I decided to make that day all about me. All the kids were at school. As soon as I dropped off number 2 and number 3, I went straight to the gym. I was in the gym for about an hour, 30 minutes. It's a great ass workout too, by the way. I'm in there and I get a phone call from number 1 school. And it's his chemistry teacher. And she's talking about he's falling asleep in class. He didn't turn in work. And then, I responded to her calmly, and I didn't even get mad at number 1 because I said, I'm going to talk to him later when I get home. Right now, it's about me. And I'm sharing this specifically so that you understand where I'm going nowadays, because whoever I get a phone call from, if it's from my kids' schools, if it's work related, or even my grandmother, I rarely share this part too, guys. I don't know if I mentioned to y'all before in previous episodes, but my abuela, who lives in New York City, Brooklyn to be exact, she has dementia. And since the transition of my mom, it's myself and my uncle that basically has taken reign over her things, even though I was already doing that with my mom prior to. But I handle like her bills, her doctor's appointments, pharmacy, speaking to her providers, speaking to her insurance, all of these things. So I get those messages during the day as well. And it's gotten to the point where I don't even drop what I'm doing. If there is a phone call from that end, I check my grandmother's camera that I have set up. If I see that she's good, I don't take the call. I take it after work, or if I'm sitting in the parking lot while I'm at one of my boys' classes. Why? Because if I take that during work, I get thrown off, just like I got thrown off right now. So like, boom. So then shortly after I finish my workout, I get a phone call from an unknown number. I recognize the number, but it's unknown because I deleted baby daddy's number. So I take the call and I answered it because I know he's calling because number two's birthday is coming up. So he only could be calling me for that. Mind you, I have not spoken to baby daddy number one in a year, like over a year maybe. Yeah, over a year since last year. I mean, we haven't really even had a conversation then. It was text messaging. So anyway, I answer the phone call, and this is how he introduces himself. Yes, introduces himself. Hi, this is number one and number two's father. I'm just calling to let you know that I'm in town. Yes, you heard me right. Homeboy's in town. I'm in town. I arrived here last night. Yes, he arrived the day before and calls me the next day. I'm not hating. I'm just telling you the story. And I wanted to know what time will you be home, or are you home? It's because I'm going to go to this store to pick up this gift for him. What time did the kids get home from school, etc., etc. Old Jasmine would drop what she's doing, go get the kids out of the school. Your father's here, this, that. Nope. This is a me day. Has nothing to do with ego. I said, well, I'll be home around this time. I am within the neighborhood, so whatever. I actually ended up getting a call from my dentist after that, and they were calling me about my root canal that I had done because I had inquired about my crown, and they were like, we didn't even get to scan you. So I'm like, oh. So I ended up going to the dentist, thinking and all. I let them know ahead of time, and they ended up doing work on my root canal and getting me scanned and putting a temporary in there. So I was at the dentist for about a good 2 hours, 2.5 hours. And then I get home, shower, make myself some breakfast, doorbell rings. He comes in with the big ass gift. He asked if he could sit down. I completely I guess I'm just like, I'm in my zone. I don't like him, so I'm not giving no eye contact, but I don't have no hate, you know? So anyway, I go get my breakfast. I open up my laptop so I could go do some homework rather. And he starts asking me questions about the boys. And I just so happen to say, oh, well, I got a phone call from number one's chemistry teacher earlier this morning. And this is what's been going on. As a matter of fact, when me and the kids got back from New York City from the Thanksgiving trip, my uncle and I went to go have a meeting. And I'm sharing that part that my uncle and I went because my uncle is my support system when it comes to the boy. He's been actively helping me with the boys as of late regarding like what's up with the kids, reminding the kids to do their chores, this, that, and the third. Kind of, basically being a father figure, male figure in their life, right? I got mad uncles, but I'm grateful that he's kind of like, coming around with that and being intentional with being more present because my boys are getting older. Anyway, I proceed to tell him the story. And I could see his facial expressions changing. And I'm like, hey, I'm catching you up on 3 years of things because you don't ask questions. You don't know who their doctor's appointment, who their providers are. You don't know what's going on with their school, this, that, and the third. I stopped asking you because you don't ask. So, I get that you're here now and I'm not taking that away from you. However, you know what? I never had the opportunity to tell you this. So I'm going to tell you this now. And I don't know what you thought coming in this house, not thinking that I wasn't going to say nothing. So he kind of chuckles because he basically, recalls how I was or how I am. And I said, this is not okay that, you're asking me all these things. And I'm obviously not doing my homework because I'm answering his questions. I wasn't going to not answer his questions. He's here. He's present. He showed up. However long he showed up for, he's there for the kids. That's all I could really look at. However, you're gonna hear from me, and I wasn't gonna make it no drawn out thing or go off on him or any of those things. But I'm like, yo, you're their father. You should know these things. You should be aware of these things. But I talk to them every day. I said, yes, you do. But there are things that you should be reaching out to me for. You can't sit here and say, I don't tell you, because I used to send him things and he wouldn't respond, or he would give me one word answers, or he will say, I'll call you back, and never call me back. I didn't bring up those things because there are just some things that don't necessarily need to be said, but I needed to basically focus on what he was asking in that present moment and talking to him about school. So I mentioned to him about school and how, what was happening before in regards to my number one's behavior and so on and so forth. And that was pretty much it. I didn't go into much because it was getting nearing to the time of number one showing up, coming home from school. So that was a nice encounter and a nice surprise. And that's what makes me happy. I know that they love their father, right? They have that relationship with him, but I don't have a co-parenting relationship with him. And I had the opportunity to tell him, like I was trying to tell y'all just now, but I got sidetracked with other stuff, I said, we broke up years ago, over 14 years ago, and you abandoned me and the kids. You said you're going to be there. And this one time that I arrived late to my crib because you're waiting there for me after you pick up the kids from school and you saw me laughing, you told me, I'm not doing this anymore. And I recall that because he literally did not do that anymore. I said, do you know that the only time that you were there for the kids, because you keep saying, well, you moved them from New York City. Yes, I did. But you were giving them 2 Tuesdays out of the month. 2 Tuesdays out of the month? That's 2 days out of 30 days or 31 days, however long the month is. And he's sitting there kind of like, yeah, I did do that, huh? So I didn't go into more of it, but I shared that because I needed to get it out. And two, him seeing that I won't say I don't need him. The kids need him, but I would absolutely love that co-parent relationship. I would absolutely love him to be there and to do more and so on and so forth. So he's pacing in the living room waiting for number one to show up, and he has his hands in his pocket and he's looking around the house and he looks up at the ceiling and he's looking up at the front door and his window and this is a really nice home, he says. And then he goes, I know I don't say this at all, but you're doing a really good job with the kids. I said, nigga, I know. What am I supposed to get happy because you're validating what I already know and it coming from you? Like, that's what I'm saying to myself. But I did tell him, nigga, I know. You don't got to tell me that. I know what the fuck I'm doing. And I left it at that because it was all about the kiddos' weekend, So I say all of this to say that men truly don't see what us women go through. The baby daddies truly do not see. And I'm going to touch on this really quick and I'm not going to get sidetracked, but I started watching Insecure series again. And anytime I do watch it, I start from season, I believe 4, episode 5, called Low-Key Happy, I believe. And it's the episode where Issa and Lawrence reconnect and they touch on things that they never had the opportunity to touch on and basically share why they broke up or why she cheated on him. And she shares with him how, you weren't there mentally, physically, you weren't there. You didn't want me anymore. You just weren't present. And she was getting the attention from Daniel. And he was basically saying, yeah, I was actually depressed and this, that, and the third. So there's that disconnect, right? Number one and number two's baby daddy number one is an avoidant. He does not touch on things. He doesn't like to talk about things. And it was really, really frustrating for me during our time together. And mind you, I was in my 20s. This was, when I'm looking at him, and I said, dang, I dated this guy back in 2006, I believe. Had to be because I had gotten a Ford Focus that following year and it was a 2007 or 2008, whatever. I've known this guy obviously for that long, but 20 years or so. So for him not to fully grow, because there was some things that he was doing and I'm like, this nigga has not changed. And the nigga would tell me, yeah, I ain't changed. But anyway, the point of me sharing all of this is that while men, baby daddies, if you're listening, or if someone decided to share this with a baby daddy and he's open to listening, while you guys say to yourselves, she won't let me see my kid or she's being difficult, I highly recommend that you kind of like listen, like remove your ego and listen, because the frustrations that us baby mothers go through on a day-to-day basis, the things that we have to do because we have no choice, because those are our kids, and we're going to do what we need to do. We're going to get a job that fits their schedule. We're going to call out sick if our kid is sick. We're going to cry through the bullshit and through the struggles and through the overwhelm. Like, if you are a baby daddy and you're listening right now, or if your baby mama shared this episode with you, if you can answer these questions, that means that you showing up. Do you know the name of your children's providers? Their primary care provider, their dentist? Do you know their teachers' names? Do you know what time they're in school and out of school? Do you know their shoe size? Do you know what grade they're in right now? Do you know how many credits they need to graduate high school? Do you know where their health is? Like, if they're good, if there's anything that's needed? Do you attend their sports events? Do you take them to their sports events? When was the last time they had a dental visit? When was the last time they had a doctor's visit? Do you need to meet with their teachers to go over their school and their education and their grades? Do any of your kids have IEPs or R's in place? Do you know anything? Do you know if your child has ADHD? Do you know if your child is on the spectrum? Do you know these things? Because if you said no to any of this, that means that you need to step up, right? Let me go back to the Insecure series. So I brought up that episode because obviously they ended up getting back together, and then they get to the point where Lawrence is having a baby with Condola, and you see their lives, as in Issa has moved on with her life, and Lawrence has moved on with his life. Sorry, backtrack. You see Condola raising the baby by herself, and Lawrence has moved to San Francisco because he got a job offer, and this was made to him prior to the baby, or him finding out about the baby. So he still follows through with going with the job to San Francisco. He's living his life. He's going on dates. He's fucking. He's doing all of these things. And then pan to the other side of Condola, who is exhausted. She fell asleep on the sofa. The baby is crying. The baby is under the weather. She could barely sleep. She could barely stay together. And on the other side, you see Lawrence celebrating his wins at work, and he's living his life freely. Lawrence gets up in the morning and gets up straight to go to work. Condola gets up in the morning to go make breakfast for her baby, to feed her baby, to get her baby dressed and get herself dressed. And these are the things that us mothers go through. And the baby daddies, all y'all got to do is open your eye, roll over, and go straight to work. You don't have to worry about anybody else. But yet, some of y'all are stressed out. Some of y'all don't know why y'all don't have healthy relationships with y'all children as they get older, because you weren't really present. And I'm sharing this from experience, because my dad and I don't have a good, healthy relationship, because when I tried, he was still doing the same thing that he was doing when I was born. There was no change. I just got older. I evolved. Ain't that crazy? I got older. I evolved, and I saw him for who he truly was. And that's something that I have to get through. So what I don't know what's going on in my baby daddy's head right now. Really and truly. I don't know, but I feel like some gears are changing up there. Excuse me. And here's why. Because this is the first time in the 5 years that I've been out here. This is his 5th visit. You could say that he's visited Texas once each year, right? This is the first time that we've interacted the way that we did this past weekend. He came to my house while I was here, because the other times that he's been here, I was out of town. I was here. I was able to let him ride in the car. I wasn't going to say, nah, you ain't riding with us, get in the Uber. I wasn't doing all of that. That does not show anything healthy to my boys. So once I came back from picking up baby number 3, we then proceeded to go with our normal Friday schedule, which was Taekwondo and boxing. So I said, you could come, you could actually get an opportunity to see number 2 in Taekwondo and number 3 in boxing. and he saw what the schedule was. He saw all the driving that I had to do. I get home at 5, from 5 to boxing, 5:15, from 5:15 to taekwondo, 5:30. Stay there till 6:15, leave taekwondo at 6:15 and drive back over to boxing. Get to boxing by 6:30. We're not leaving boxing until about 7:10. Then home about 7:30. Then either I'm cooking dinner or I'm picking up dinner. And if it's a Friday, I'm picking up dinner. Then back home within the 8 o'clock hour. They're eating, they're chilling, they're doing what they do. All of that driving back and forth. And this is something that I do 2 to 3 times a week. Because if I'm exhausted, I don't do the third day. I'll do the minimum 2 days, but I like to do the third day because one, it's good for them. Number 2 is making them their classes. Number 3 is strength training. All of these good things. Anyway, then Saturday was a plan for the celebration, and I was supposed to have a mommy and me, and then I was supposed to have dinner with all 3 of my boys that evening. But since baby daddy came into town, that trumped mine. I wasn't gonna say, nah, you ain't doing this. I got my plan. I'm not gonna do that. It's all about the kids. So we all went together to go get glasses for baby number 2, who was celebrating his birthday. And he paid. He didn't let me pay. And I was going to say, nah, you good. That's okay. I'll pay. Nope. He was like, I have extra cash and I could do this. And obviously he was there for that very reason anyway, which is a good thing. And then they went about their way. I let them have their time with their dad, and they went to the movies and they had dinner and all these kinds of things. We actually ended up going to dinner where number 2 wanted to go. We went as a family. That was cool. Kind of awkward a little bit, but kind of cool. Only awkward because we haven't really interacted in that way in a very long time. It's been very, very many years. And I was tapping in with my emotions, and I didn't have any hate or anger towards them, because I would say that I've accepted them for who they are, and I have only focused on the things that I am doing for my kids. And they started to say, oh, they need this. What do they need? I'll help. This, that, and third. I'll get the cake. I'll do these things. They need sneakers. They need clothes. And I would answer the questions. I'll say that this is the size, and I'll do this, I'll do that. They were in their room. They saw what they needed, and anything else that was needed. I was being asked what was needed, and I would say what it was. And I've gotten a few text messages here and there, but it's still it's not awkward. It's kind of like bridging that gap of communication, because at once upon a time we were good friends. We used to laugh, and there were a couple jabs here and there, playfully, like old times. But then there was the, spend time with the kiddos things. And there was a couple of, I don't know, weird stuff that I kind of noticed, but not paying attention to that in that way, because, you know what it was? It was also invigorating, because I think at one point this person wanted me to fail, and that kind of sucks. So I know I kind of went long-winded with all of this, actually. So here's now how things started to unfold as I go into visualization. Baby daddy number 1 decides to move to Houston from New York City with his girlfriend. When he was here last week, he got to see that other side. He got to see where the kids live, the neighborhoods, how nice it is, movie theater, how clean it is, how quiet the neighborhood is. They haven't heard a siren since they've been out here. They ended up moving into the same neighborhood, actually within 10 minutes. I have the kids Monday through Thursday. He has the kids Friday through Sunday, and we alternate the 4s and the 4 and 3 days. And I've noticed that my kids have been extremely happier, and the communication has been very rewarding and very refreshing, and with so much ease. There hasn't been no resistance. And they show up. They ended up getting their driver's license finally. They got a car, so they're able to take the kids to their sporting events when they have them. So I get that break and I'm able to focus more on my schoolwork and on baby number 3. And then out of the blue, baby number 2 liked one of the videos that I sent them last year, and I didn't pay attention to it. I saw the message pop up. I didn't say anything because at this point you're not speaking to me. You haven't answered any of the messages or any of the calls, so there's really nothing that I have to say. But something is brewing in the universe, in the atmosphere, in the cosmos, is what I'm trying to say. And I didn't comment, so I just went about my business, like I mentioned. And I then get a a text message 2 days later of them taking a picture of themselves at IAH, the Houston airport. And they said that they transferred their job out here and they're staying at a hotel and they're wondering if we can connect and meet up to talk. We meet up. I go and meet him with the baby. It happens to be a week where number 1 and number 2 is with their dad. And we talk. I listened to everything that they needed to say, and they touched on, what they were going through and why they weren't present and why they weren't answering. And they felt guilty. I mean, I could hear everything that they're saying, but I'm really going by actions, right? So we ended that visit, and the next day they showed me videos of them looking at places within the neighborhood, and they then too moved into an apartment complex 10 minutes away from me, and they show up to my house on a daily basis when I'm home, when I've picked up baby number 3 from school. So they're there during that time and they're spending time with them, they're playing with them, they're watching TV with them, they're going over school activities for them that's appropriate for their age. And they've been doing this for the past 3 months. And baby number 3 is getting comfortable around his dad, and he's starting to understand who he is and him showing up every day, and he gets excited when he sees them. He even shows up, baby daddy number 2 even shows up to the bi-weekly meetings that I have at my kid's school, because my number 3 goes to ABA therapy, like I mentioned, for his behavior and all of these things. So they come with me to those meetings at the school to go over the progress that baby number 3 is exhibiting. And they asked me if it was okay to sign him up for soccer and gymnastics, and I say, yeah, that's fine, as long as it works with my schedule. And if it doesn't, that they're the ones that are going to be taking them. And they said, yeah, they'll be doing all of that. He also asked me if we could go to family therapy to help with healing of the process of him not being present during my pregnancy and not being present in baby number 3's life for the past 5 years rather, because he really doesn't know him. He's met him once prior to this, and he's exhibiting actions of wanting to be present and wanting to be a better dad and a better human being. And I said, yes, I'm open to it. I believe that therapy is extremely good, and it doesn't hurt to have a professional to step in and help us navigate through those emotions, because I really went through a sad pregnancy with baby number 3. It was really sad for me. And so many things happened, because shortly after, not even a year, I lost my mom, and going through that process and then going through grief and in grief of my own, it was just so many heavy things that I had to go through. And when I think of it, sometimes it makes me sad, but I push through, because I know that I am healing from it. And life happens to a lot of us, but it is a beautiful thing, because children are resilient. My youngest didn't really notice too much when their brother would leave to go with their dad. Their brothers would leave to go with their dad those few days. It was just me and him until his dad just popped up. And it's just kind of given me a sense of relief and hope that God has finally answered my prayers that I prayed for all these years. But it happened during me really truly letting go of the hate and anger that I had towards my baby daddies about what they did, what they weren't doing, and solely focusing on the things that I was doing. I was showing up for my kids. I was pushing through the tears, through the hardships. I was pushing through the toughness. And I would say I built a lot of muscle because I went through all of this by myself. And while they are showing up now and they're present now, I'm still going by actions. And I don't beef, I don't nag, I don't pick, I don't say, well, you're not doing this. I say, well, how about we expound on this and kind of get to a middle and get to some understanding so that it works for all parties involved, because the decision that you make and I make affects them. And that's most important. That's really important. And I'm glad that finally, I mean, all of this happened, especially where baby number 3 has started asking for their dad. And I was telling them, hey, they were in New York, but now that they're here, the answer is different and they're present. And it leaves me even more time for myself. I'm not rushing to go and do this or go and do that. My calendar doesn't look as packed as before, although I do see it. I have more time for myself. I'm getting to know me more, and my relationship with my baby daddies are a lot more healthier. Like, I have a healthier relationship with men now. And I really, truly appreciate that. Now, wouldn't that be amazing if all of this were true? I do believe in the power of visualization because that's how I visualize a lot of the things and manifested a lot of things in my life in the past. But I do believe in God and I do have hope. And it's solely because I'm loving myself more and I know my self-worth. And I'm healing and I'm going to therapy and I'm actively being patient with myself and giving myself grace and not comparing myself to nobody else, but solely focusing on myself. I appreciate y'all for listening to this episode. I know it was a little bit long-winded because I got stuck in the story and I was really giving y'all details from how the conversation went, but I was basically giving y'all a picture, painting y'all a picture of the story and how it all went. And I hope this helped you. I hope that you take this time to sit down and perhaps create your own visualization of how you would want life to be with you and your baby daddies, so that it could go according to how your life is. But I do have hope. And as I told this story, I actually truly believe it. When this happens, I will absolutely let you guys know. I thank y'all for listening. I thank y'all for following me. I want to remind y'all to subscribe, send this and share this to another fellow mom. Please give me some feedback. Go ahead and give me them stars, them 5 stars, because I know that y'all here, y'all listening, y'all love the tea. And until the next episode, peace.